In the cold, endless darkness of space where every empire measured power through speed and firepower, humans were known for something else: stubbornness. Their ships were slower, bulkier, and far less advanced than those of the great alien fleets that filled the galaxy. Yet somehow they always managed to survive. The story begins near the Veltrian sector, a region controlled by the Takar Dominion, a proud and ancient alien race. They had just finished their annual war games, where dozens of fleets gathered to display new technology and test their battle tactics. This year, however, something unusual appeared on the long-range sensors: a single human warship, entering the sector at a crawl. Its name was HSS Resolute. To most alien captains, it looked like an old relic, massive, gray, and painfully slow. The ship's engines glowed faintly, giving the impression that it was struggling even to move. The Veltrian communication channels filled with laughter. "Is that a human ship? It's moving slower than a cargo hauler. Humans really still fly those metal bricks? They call that a warship, huh? More like a museum piece." Even the Dominion's commander, Admiral Varric, joined in the amusement. His own flagship, Vengeance of the Stars, could cross entire systems in hours, while the human vessel barely managed to reach the system's edge. "Let it come," Varric said with a smirk. "Perhaps it will entertain us." Inside the Resolute, Captain Elias Grant stood on the bridge, hands behind his back, calm as always. His crew of humans and a few allied androids worked quietly. The hum of old systems and the flicker of aging screens filled the air. It wasn't a glamorous ship, but it was built with human heart and history. The captain's first officer, Lieutenant Mara Singh, looked nervous. "Sir, they're mocking us on every open channel. The Dominion fleet is broadcasting jokes about our speed." Grant smiled faintly. "Let them talk. A slow ship doesn't mean a weak one." Mara frowned. "But sir, we're outnumbered 20-1. Shouldn't we change course? The Dominion isn't exactly friendly." The captain turned toward the main viewport. The distant flashes of alien ships gleamed like tiny stars. "Every ship has its purpose, Mara. Ours isn't speed. It's endurance." The Resolute was not built like other warships. It was part of a classified human defense project, designed decades ago for deep space endurance and hidden countermeasures. Every system looked outdated on purpose, hiding the truth inside its heavy armor. While most empires valued bright energy shields and flashy plasma cannons, humans built something different: adaptive hull plating, silent weapons, and artificial intelligence that learned from every attack. But no one in the galaxy knew that. To them, it was just an old human warship, moving too slow to matter. Hours passed as the Resolute entered the sector. Alien ships kept sending mock messages, taunts, fake surrender offers, and even laughter files. The human crew ignored them all. Grant's focus never shifted. His orders were quiet but precise. Then, without warning, one of the Dominion captains decided to play with the slow ship. The alien ship TKS Harrow, a sleek destroyer, approached the Resolute and fired a single plasma round across its bow, a warning shot. Message from the Harrow. "Sir," said Mara, "they want us to show our engines or be towed like scrap." Grant sighed softly. "Activate defense protocols, but hold your fire." The Resolute did not respond with weapons. Instead, it simply adjusted its course by a few degrees, as if not bothered at all. The alien destroyer laughed and fired again, this time hitting the Resolute's side directly. The plasma bolt struck the hull and disappeared. No explosion, no damage, not even a mark. The Dominion bridge went silent. "What just happened? Our scanners show no damage. Did the plasma shot get absorbed?" They fired again, twice more. The same result. The old slow warship just kept moving forward, steady, unshaken, unstoppable. Inside the Resolute, Captain Grant finally gave his next command. "Mara, inform the Dominion that further hostile action will be considered an act of war." The lieutenant sent the message. The alien fleet's laughter started again, louder this time. The Dominion ships formed a loose circle around the Resolute, dozens of them. Their bright hulls glimmered under the starlight. Admiral Varric opened a channel himself.
"Human vessel, this is Admiral Varric of the Takar Dominion.
You have entered restricted space. You are slow, outdated, and outnumbered. Surrender and we may let you return home." Grant's calm voice answered, "Admiral, humans don't surrender. You know that from history." Varric sneered. "History won't save you. Your ship can't even keep up with my cruisers." Grant smiled slightly. We don't need to keep up. The Dominion opened fire. Hundreds of plasma bolts streaked through space, forming a glowing storm around the Resolute. The human ship vanished inside the explosion. For several seconds, the alien fleet cheered. The scanners showed the Resolute's signal fading, but then the signal came back. The smoke cleared, revealing the human ship still there, slow, steady, but completely unharmed. Its hull shimmered faintly with heat, but no damage appeared. What in the stars? Varek muttered. Grant turned to his crew. Activate adaptive plating. Release decoys. Suddenly, dozens of energy echoes appeared around the Resolute. To the alien fleet's sensors, it looked like 10 identical ships had appeared out of nowhere. Their targeting systems scrambled. Mara smiled for the first time that day. Sir, they can't tell which one is real. Good, Grant said. Let's show them what slow can really do. The Resolute launched a burst of small, dark projectiles. They didn't glow or make noise like plasma weapons. They moved silently, invisible to most sensors. Each one carried a microfield that disrupted energy cores. Within seconds, 2 Dominion ships flickered and lost power. Our systems are failing. We're hit. But how? Varek's ships began firing wildly in all directions. Every shot missed. The human warship's movements were slow but deliberate. Each turn, each angle, was calculated perfectly by its onboard AI, Athena, who had been silently monitoring the battle. Admiral Varek, Grant said calmly over the comms, your ships are advanced but predictable. You rely on speed and numbers. We rely on patience and understanding. The alien admiral growled. You think your outdated machine can defeat my fleet? You're alone, Grant replied. Then you should have brought more. One of the Dominion's heavy cruisers tried to ram the Resolute, its engines glowing bright. But just as it reached close range, the human ship's hull separated slightly, revealing hidden launch tubes. A storm of kinetic rounds blasted outward, hitting the cruiser's armor at critical points. The alien ship spun out of control and crashed into one of its own allies. In less than 10 minutes, 5 Dominion ships were disabled, and the rest were retreating to a safer distance. The laughter that had filled the comms earlier was gone. Replaced by silence, Admiral Varek was furious. Impossible. That ship should not have this kind of power. His science officer whispered, Sir, the human vessel's design is unknown. It's absorbing energy. Our plasma attacks only make it stronger. Varek's red eyes narrowed. Then we'll use gravity torpedoes. Cripple it. He ordered all ships to charge heavy weapons. Inside the Resolute, Mara noticed the reading spike. Sir, they're preparing high-yield torpedoes. Should we evade? Grant shook his head. No, maintain position. Let them commit, she hesitated. Captain, if we don't move, we'll... Grant interrupted softly. They think we're slow. Let's use that. The Resolute's engines dimmed even more, almost to zero. The ship appeared to be powering down. The Dominion fleet interpreted it as surrender or failure. Varek grinned. Finally. End it, he gave the order. 20 torpedoes launched. The space between the fleets lit up like a small star. The torpedoes raced toward the human ship, unstoppable. But at the last possible moment, the Resolute vanished. It simply disappeared from all sensors. What? Where did it go? Varek roared. Mara looked at her captain. Cloaking engaged, sir. Grant nodded. Perfect timing. The Resolute reappeared moments later behind the Dominion fleet. Its massive forward cannons, long hidden within the armored hull, now glowed blue with stored energy. Target engines only, Grant ordered. Dozens of precision shots fired, each one disabling rather than destroying. Within a minute, the once proud Dominion armada hung helplessly in space. Engines offline, power drained, weapons silent. Grant sent one last message to the Admiral. Admiral Varek, the next time you mock a human ship, remember this. Slow doesn't mean weak. Sometimes it means patient. Sometimes it means waiting for the perfect moment. Then, as silently as it came, the Resolute turned and began its slow journey out of the sector. No one dared to stop it. When the human ship disappeared into the blackness of space, the Dominion fleet remained silent. Not one dared to speak for a long time. They had all mocked the slow human warship. But that day, every alien captain learned something terrifying. The slowest ship in the galaxy wasn't slow because it had to be. It was slow because it chose to be. And behind that calm, patient pace was a power even the fastest empires feared to understand. For days, the galaxy buzzed with rumors. A single slow human warship had humiliated the Takar Dominion fleet in open space. The story spread faster than light, told by traders, smugglers, and even military officers. Did you hear? That old human ship wiped out half the Dominion fleet. No, not wiped out, disabled them. They said it didn't even take a scratch. How? It's supposed to be ancient. Every corner of the galaxy heard the same name whispered with new respect: HSS Resolute. The Council's concern in the high orbit of the neutral world Rendara Prime, the Galactic Council gathered. Representatives from dozens of powerful empires sat around a great circular hall, glowing with the light of countless stars. At the center stood a holographic image of the Resolute. A bulky, slow, gray ship, not impressive at all, yet every delegate stared at it in silence. The Council's moderator, a tall Avrixian with transparent skin, spoke first. This ship, a human war vessel, entered Takar space alone. It survived direct assault from an entire fleet. It must be discussed. The Takar representative, Ambassador Varek, still humiliated from the event, slammed his claws on the table. That was not a battle, it was trickery. Humans used cloaking technology banned by treaty. They ambushed us, a calm voice answered. They responded to your unprovoked fire, Admiral. Everyone turned. The human ambassador, Elena Rhodes, stood tall and composed. Her uniform was simple, her expression unreadable. The Resolute was on a peaceful patrol route. Your fleet fired first, Varek hissed. Peaceful? That warship could crush fleets. Rhodes smiled faintly. Only if provoked. Murmurs filled the chamber. Several empires had already begun analyzing recordings of the battle. They were curious. How did a slow ship defeat modern fleets? What secret did humanity hide? Finally, the Council decided. They would investigate the Resolute and demand answers from Earth. But deep inside, many feared something far greater. If humans had built one such ship, how many more existed? 2. The crews returned far from the political debates. The Resolute traveled quietly through deep space, engines humming like a low heartbeat. The crew was exhausted but proud. The victory had given them hope and fear. On the bridge, Captain Elias Grant looked out at the stars.
Status report, Lieutenant. Mara Singh, his loyal first officer, smiled faintly.
Engines stable. Hull integrity at 98%. Minor stress on the adaptive plates, but self-repair is underway. Good, Grant replied. Any response from Fleet Command? She nodded. Admiral Hayes sent a message. They want us back on Earth for debriefing, but, sir, they also mentioned the Council. They're demanding to see the ship's technology. Grant's jaw tightened. So they're afraid now? Mara hesitated. Do we show them, sir? The captain turned to face her. No. This ship was built for one purpose, to protect humanity when no one else can. The less they know, the safer Earth will be. On the secret of the slow ship, in the engineering bay deep below the decks, the Resolute's true heart pulsed. A massive core chamber glowed faintly blue, surrounded by cables and heavy plating. Inside the core, the ship's AI Athena processed endless streams of data. Her voice echoed through the chamber, calm, intelligent, almost human. Captain Grant, energy absorption level at 47%. Cloaking matrix stable, learning algorithms adapting from Takar battle. Grant stepped inside the chamber. Athena, how much do they know about you? Minimal. External scans failed to identify my systems. The enemy assumed outdated technology. He smiled. Good. Let them keep thinking that. Captain, Athena said softly, my protocols indicate this ship was designed not only for defense, but for judgment. Grant paused. Judgment? Yes. My final directive, written by Earth Command 70 years ago, states, when the stars forget peace and the strong prey on the weak, the Resolute will decide who deserves to rule the void. Grant stared at the glowing core. He had heard stories that the Resolute was more than just a ship. It was a guardian, built during a time when humanity feared extinction. A machine of peace that could become a weapon of justice when needed. He sighed quietly. Let's hope we never need that final directive, Athena. Shadows watching. But the galaxy wasn't done with the Resolute. Unknown to its crew, 3 stealth ships followed from afar. They belonged to the Renari Syndicate, a secretive group that sold information and stolen tech across the stars. Their leader, a silver-skinned alien named Crix, grinned as he watched the human warship through his scanners. Slow, yes, Crick said. But slow targets are easier to study. Once we copy its cloaking system, we'll sell it for half the galaxy's wealth. His crew cheered quietly. None of them understood what danger they were walking into. The Resolute's sensors suddenly flared. Mara frowned. Sir, I'm detecting faint emissions behind us. Not Dominion. Different pattern. Grant's expression darkened. Show me. On the screen, 3 small dots blinked in the distance, moving stealthily but not silent enough. Grant smiled coldly. They think we can't see them. Athena, shall we say hello? Affirmative, Captain. The Resolute slowed even more, engines dimming as if it were losing power. The Rhinari crew took the bait and moved closer. When they were within range, the Resolute's hull shifted. Hidden panels opened, releasing a silent pulse of electromagnetic energy. In seconds, all 3 Rhinari ships lost power. Their lights died, engines stopped, and they drifted helplessly. What happened? Crick shouted. Grant's voice came over their comms, calm and steady. You should have stayed hidden. Curiosity can be dangerous. The Rhinari tried to reply, but the comms cut off. Their ships floated in darkness. Grant turned to his crew. Transmit coordinates of the disabled ships to Earth Command for pickup. No need to destroy them. They've learned enough fear. Ken. Arrival at Earth. When the Resolute finally reached Earth orbit, the planet looked peaceful and bright, blue oceans reflecting the sunlight. But on the military channels, tension ran high. Fleet Command was waiting. As the ship approached, dozens of drones scanned it from every angle. Then came the order to dock at Orbital Station Sentinel, the most secure base above Earth. Grant and his officers were met by Admiral Hayes, a stern man with silver hair and sharp eyes. Captain Grant, Hayes said, shaking his hand firmly. You caused quite a storm. The Council wants answers. They're saying your ship violated treaties. Grant replied calmly. With respect, Admiral, we only defended ourselves. Hayes nodded slowly. I know, but they're not just asking questions, they're sending observers. They want to inspect the Resolute. Mara frowned. That's not possible. The ship's systems are classified under Project Guardian. Hayes lowered his voice. Exactly. Which is why the situation is dangerous. The Council may use this as an excuse to force human disarmament. Grant looked at the Admiral. Then we can't let them near the ship. Hayes sighed. I trust you, Elias. But whatever happens, remember, the Resolute isn't just a ship anymore. It's a message. The galaxy now knows that humans can't be mocked or underestimated. The Council's visit 3 days later, a delegation arrived at the station, led by none other than Admiral Varek of the Takar Dominion himself. His expression was pure bitterness. He was joined by representatives from 4 other major powers. They demanded to see the ship's systems. Admiral Hayes, Captain Grant, and Ambassador Rhodes met them in the observation hall overlooking the Resolute. Varek pointed at the ship through the window. That machine hides forbidden technology. You humans pretend to be peaceful yet build weapons capable of destroying fleets. Ambassador Rhodes replied calmly. The Resolute destroyed nothing. It only disabled your ships, Varek hissed, because it chose to. Next time, maybe it won't. Grant finally spoke, his tone firm but calm. Admiral, humanity has faced extinction more times than your kind can count. We learned long ago that true strength isn't about speed or size. It's about resolve. The alien delegations exchanged uneasy looks. There was something in his voice. Quiet confidence, not arrogance. Varek leaned closer. You think fear will keep you safe? Grant's eyes narrowed slightly. No, but understanding will. He turned to Admiral Hayes. Show them the Resolute's external systems only. Nothing classified. The aliens examined the outer hull, sensors, and weapon mounts, all of which looked simple and unimpressive. To their surprise, they found no evidence of forbidden tech. One of the scientists muttered, It's just metal and old engines. Grant smiled faintly. Appearances can deceive. The warning. That night, while the alien delegation prepared to leave, the Resolute's AI detected something alarming. A small drone from the Dominion delegation was trying to hack into the ship's core data. Captain, Athena warned. Unauthorized signal detected near data uplink. Attempting breach. Grant's expression hardened. Seal the ship. No one gets out. Within seconds, the Resolute's internal defenses activated. The alien drone froze midair, caught by an energy net. When the Dominion envoy was confronted, he denied involvement. But the evidence was clear. Ambassador Rhodes addressed the council the next day. The Dominion attempted espionage against a peaceful human vessel. We will consider this an act of hostility if not withdrawn. The council erupted in argument, but many sided with Earth this time. The Takar Dominion was forced to back down. For the first time in centuries, humanity stood tall among the stars, not feared, not pitied, but respected. The captain's reflection.